Hi, I'm Peggy Walker with the Astronomical League. I am the STEAM and the Junior Activities Coordinator for the AL, and I'm actually part of the 75th Planning Committee. And we've had so much fun putting this together. This is February. We are at T-10 and counting. So if you haven't heard, we do have a 75th anniversary coming up. In the December Reflector, Chuck Allen, the vice president, wrote a really great article giving great overview with some really great archived photos here. So if you have yours, go ahead and go through that. And then I did a article as well in the Full Steam Ahead on page 6. And I actually talked about how shocked I was at the people that were in that article, the pictures of the great people that we all know and love that are astronomy leaders, actually, of the time past. And I wrote my article about that. And then I also talk about how we're going to put together this 75th celebration for the year. It's going to be 11 months long. And so when putting the calendar together, I had opted to change up some of the dates and information with trivia of the history of the AL in it. And so you'll want to get your copy. It's still $13 as usual, but you're going to wind up having a lot more historical information, trivia, fun things that you probably never knew about at the AL. But the month of February is here. And so what are we celebrating this February besides my birthday? We're celebrating the fact that we have about 3 images from the Winter Star Party in the calendar. And so this particular one, if you look at the first one, it was in January. We had the winner for the solar system image. His name was Cyrus Rabadowski, and I probably butchered his name, sorry. But he did the occultation of Mars with the moon, and that's up for February. And then a really neat guy, he's a Navy retired guy named Kevin Hanley, did the deep sky object of the Omega Centauri. He took first in that particular that photo contest. And then I even got the president of the Winter Star Party kind of involved, and I found out he was an imager. And so I'd asked Tim Kahn if he would want to put something in. So he gives me his Astro bin, and I selected the Squid Nebula, which I had never heard about. It sits in the Bat Nebula. Who knew that either? So Tim Kahn is in there. So we have 3 guys from the Winter Star Party, which makes it kind of exciting for February. We also have kind of some fun dates that I wanted to share with you. That on the 1st of the 11th, the first one I want to talk about, the 11th is in 1911, Carl Seifert is born, but he was the keynote speaker for the AL 1951 convention. So we all know that this notable man with naming galaxies after him was actually at an LCON and participated with the Astronomical League. The other date I thought was kind of cool to mention was on the 12th, was this month in 1953, on the 12th, the 7th AL region was formed called Swirl, which is the Southwest region, which is Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana. At the time, these were the states, but that was done in 1953. So the regions have been around a long time. The other one that I thought was kind of cool was on the 27th. It said, this month in 1953, the first 70 recipients of AL's new Messier Observing Award are awarded. So that was, here again, 1953. It was really booming, and a lot of activity was going on in the 50s and 60s, which you'll find out as we move through the calendar. And then the other one was on the 28th of February. It says this month in 1953, AL has 72 societies, 6 junior societies, and it has 4,132 members and $1,023.76 change in the treasury. So we have grown quite a bit, which is awesome. And then also Peltier discovered a comet on the 20th, even though he was born in January. But he also discovered another comet in February. So go ahead and get these, because we are going to link to them, and we're tying things in with that. This is kind of like your guide for the fun events that we're looking at doing each month. So go ahead and go to the webpage on that. So, which is something we're going to hop into right now. Is we're going to take you to the webpage. We'll have the link also listed for you. It's strictly all about AL in the 75th, and this is all the events we're going to be doing. So you can go to order the calendar off onto the very first section there. You click on that, and it will take you straight into the store. And if you scroll down there, you can see the calendar, the Horsehead Nebula on there, and go ahead and order your copies from there, and it will just straight from the store. The other thing is when you come back to the main page, if you look over underneath the 75th medallion that I believe John Goss made, the 75th medallion, there's a pink box up there. And if you click on that, that will take you to the Facebook page for the Astronomical League. So that's the link that goes there. And so you can find out anything. You can participate in all the Zoom calls that we're going to be doing for the month. They'll be advertised on the Zoom, so on the Facebook page. So go ahead and click there. We're going to head back in and show you what the month of February is going to have to offer. And then we're talking about Tippy D'Auria. So if you click on the month of February, you'll be able to print out this flyer if you want to. You can go in, and at the top it says February 2021. If you click on that flyer, you'll get it to be able to be printed out. So looking at this particular flyer, number one, I want to thank Russ Brick from the Southern Cross Astronomical Society. He sent me the biography that he wrote on Tippy, and the two images that we have there are actually from Russ Brick, from that society. And so Tippy's real name was actually Matthew. And then we have them cutting the, I guess, the actual ribbon for the very first Winter Star Party. So I believe it's about in the 30s. So Tippy was actually a electronics instrumentation technician, but he also was very much an imager. He loved teaching photography, and he was part of the local group of deep sky observers in the Institute for Planetary Research. It's called IPRO, and he's also part of the ALPO at the same time. So in his imaging teaching, he was doing the cold camera photography, he was doing creative photography, darkroom techniques, and as the Astronomical Society, actually the Southern Cross, he chaired that organization for a good 15 years. So that was a long run for him. But he actually was a founding board member of the Astronomy Outreach Network, which I believe is connected with Scott Roberts. And so he actually was also a advisor for the Meade 4M community. So the thing about him was that he got a great honor, which was to have a asteroid named after him, 11378 D'Auria, in 2001. So that was pretty cool. And then he received the Astronomical League Award in 2007. And the one thing that we didn't know about Mr. D'Auria was the fact that he and Donald Parker, which is also affiliated with the AL, had kind of predicted some sort of a hit or a flash that was going to be on the Edom Promontorium region on Mars. And so Tippy and Dr. Parker wound up videoing that particular event. And I actually looked it up. It's called the IAU Circular number 7642, the IAU standing for International Astronomical Union. So it's actually referenced and documented with that organization. And so if you want to go there, he actually constructed several telescopes as well, 4.5, 6, 10, 13, 14. The largest one was an 18-inch scope. He actually contributed to a book, The Introduction to Observing and Photography of the Solar System. And he did some some suggestions, and he wrote part of the book for the darkroom techniques for that particular book. And the one thing that we all know about Tippy was we have an award that ties Horkheimer with Tippy, that is the imaging award for students to send into the AL. And so he's kind of recognized as one of our great patriarchs and people that we are proud to have within the Astronomical League and known for all these years. And so I just wanted to thank the Winter Star Party and the Southern Cross for helping us get this information on Tippy. And kind of in following in that same vein is if you go down to the next part of that flyer, you're going to see where, actually a little bit below the picture of Williaminia Fleming, we have the International Women and Girls in Science. And the reason I went here first because we're going to honor the women in science on February 11th, but we're going to tie back into the Tippy D'Auria imaging concept, is that on the 11th, women in science doesn't necessarily mean astronomy, and girls, and so we're going to feature them. But we thought, hey, you know, we kind of put our brains together and came up with this new award called the Williaminia Fleming Imaging Award. And so this will take women from 19 years and older, because the one that we already have with Tippy's name on it is for high school students that are 18 years and younger. And so this will fill in for women that are imagers, but they're just kind of behind the scenes and they don't really have a platform that they can come to. And so we're hoping to get them a little bit more in the forefront and recognize them a bit. So it was named, Maynard Pittengree came up with the name of the Williaminia Fleming Imaging Award, which was profoundly great. And so this woman and the women at the Harvard College University Observatory really were the very first hidden figures, if you were to go there, because they weren't allowed to touch the telescopes, but they would take the information off of image glass plates, and that's how they would discern and came up with all the classification of the stars. And they classified thousands of stars, the women. And Williaminia herself actually discovered the Horsehead Nebula, and I believe she has 10 nova, over 310 variable stars, 59 gaseous nebula, and that was all from looking at a glass and not through an eyepiece. So in honor of her, we're going to do this award. And so we're going to go ahead and take you to the form really quickly that will go back up to the resource page to get you started, because we have gone ahead and opened it up since January 15th to start sending in your images. And we will take up, they're going to confirm everything by June 7th. So when you click on the registration form, you're going to see a PDF format for you to be able to fill in on that form directly. So the only thing about that form is that it has a limited number of characters. So when you get further down the the list, when you have to start explaining a few more information in your narrative, you'll have to come to the end and hit a hard return to get you into the next line, and just make sure you spell your name correctly. Okay. But anyway, so as you scroll through, you'll see that you will have the opportunity to submit 3 images, up to 3 images. So when you get all the way down there, you can fill in whatever information you need. This form is really made that you can just turn around and email this back in, and where you would email it to, as you see there at the bottom, it will go directly to the Williaminia Fleming Award, which actually winds up going into Chuck Allen, the vice president, who is in charge of the awards. So when you're done with that, you can just go ahead and send that off, or if you print it out, however way you want to do that. But we try to make it as easy for you guys as possible. So there's the form. And now what you can do is we will look at the guidelines for that in the same, just above that form was a file that talks about the guidelines, the timing, like how it's going to be judged, kind of eligibility, and there, there's the stuff in red there that, so we kind of went ahead and extended it. This is not going to be your typical award because it's not due by March like all the other ones are. For this year, we put it together so quickly that we wanted to be able to get enough information and stuff put together. So we've opened up the entry time frame from January 15th and all the way into I think, to May. So that's a good time frame to start getting things in. Plus, it's new. We want to make sure all the information gets out to everybody. So in any case, so that's kind of what we are doing with that. So now back to the resource page. I wanted to show you a couple of things on there as well. That there is some Tippy D'Auria information there. If you wanted to go in and do some more research on him, if you wanted books on imaging, some people are, some people like doing videos, and some people can get things from books. Anyway, so there's quite a few of them in there. A lot of them are from the Springer organization, and I checked. A lot of these are still in print. And then I did stuff for the girls because of the February 11th science books, things on the girls, and I even have links further down for the young lady that Kate Bowman, I believe, that the algorithms for imaging the center of M87 of the black hole. So you scroll all the way through, so there's kind of just regular astronomy books there. There'll be some videos with that as well. So there's all kinds of connections to that. So now on the flyer, we're going to go back, and I'm going to show you the sessions that we have that will be, that we kind of talked about, that we have planned. And so just be open-minded if things don't go the way we planned. It's just crazy times right now. So these are things that we had, they're subject to change. So when we get back to the flyer, let me show you who we've got scheduled. We've got a wonderful woman, young lady, by the name of Molly Wakeling, and she came from a recommendation from the AAVSO. And she's 29 years old, and I thought it was really great that she's basically been imaging for 5 years now. And so she was so excited to break the imaging process down. I don't know if she's going to do 1 or 3 sessions, but she said she'd love to share how she got involved with imaging and how to image. The other thing she offered to do was to actually take us through how to image the Pleiades and the Seven Sisters. So she's going to do that for us in February. And then, of course, we're going back to Tippy D'Auria. We've got the Winter Star Party folks and the Southern Cross folks doing a montage and a remembrance for Tippy D'Auria. And so that's great. And we can hardly wait to hear them talk about our dear friend Tippy. And then what I booked also is on February 11th, not necessarily doing these women all on the 11th, but to celebrate that, I found some really great women that have degrees in other sciences, but do astronomy. And so we have Dr. Kat Vandy, who's a PhD in aviation science, but she's also a planetary scientist and does meteorites. We have, and she's from Oklahoma, actually, and she's going to be doing she's the keynote speaker for the Mid-States Regional. So that's going to be going on in June. And then we have Dr. Sandy Crouch, which is Doctor of Veterinarian Medicine from Hawaii, and she's actually the AAL sketching program coordinator. And so she's going to talk about her degree in biology and her work as a veterinarian, but as also a hobbyist of astronomy. Then we have Sue Rose, which many of you know. She's from New York, and she does the Caldwell program. And when I was talking to her, I did not know that she has a degree in oceanography and geology. And she even did some time as a air traffic controller. So you never know. But anyway, but she also does astronomy. She's a very avid astronomer, and a lot of people know her up there in New York area. And so she's going to talk about that. And then Captain Molly Wakeling will talk about her experiences as a nuclear engineer. And she's actually in the Air Force, and so she's getting her PhD in nuclear engineering. And then I added a young lady that I met at VIA through the president of the Von Braun Astronomical Society in Alabama at the Winter Star Party. And they had this young lady named Michaela Jennings, and she's won the National Science Teachers Award for her work with researching exoplanets. And I think she's got probably like 2 years now in doing this type of study. So she's going to talk about doing that work, and the fact that she's, I think, in 6th grade. And when you read about the February 11th, Women in Science, the UNESCO was quoting data that, they found out about 30% of all female students, only select fields in higher education. And then when it comes to math and statistics and things like that, it drops like 5%. So you don't have, young ladies coming into the higher sciences. So this young lady definitely is there, and she was really exciting to talk to when I did the Zoom with her organization. And of course, we would love to have a virtual star party. And for those of us that are in snowy, cloudy weather, rainy weather, if you have an observatory and you're in the southern part of the United States, like Florida, I would love to have something from Florida. That'd be great. And, of course, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. I have one from Texas. I have one from New Mexico. I need one from Arizona or California. It would be great because we'd love to have these virtual star parties be from border to border and from coast to coast type of a thing. So if you have that available and you'd want to hop in and do a virtual star party with us for the month of February, that would be great. And so what I was going to do is take you into the section of the webpage that talks about the women of the Astronomical League. And I put this together mainly because we've only had 3 female presidents thus far. And so, for example, you click on the first one, you will automatically you don't have to go to the resource page. It automatically pulls it up. And, little did I know, I had no idea that, Charles Federer, the president of Sky and Time magazine, his wife was the president, was the first female president of the AL. Here she is grinding in a mirror. It's awesome. Just fantastic. And then we have Grace Schultz there, and she was executive secretary for a while and became president. And, these are just really great women. And I think she was in the 50s. And then, of course, when we go to the second page here, we're going to continue the information in the Women of the League. We're going to be talking about the president. And we have Terry Mann, who's here with us, and she's acting secretary for us right now on the council. And then she's the only one that was also a vice president. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to start in with the executive secretaries. And, there's a lot of these women, you'll find that there may not be any information there. If you are in the club, or if you're, know her, or these women that are still around or whatever, I will be happy to update and add information onto these flyers just for a keepsake, just so that we can turn around and send these into the archives of the main office. So when we do a 75th anniversary, we'll be able to have, a full, complete listing of all these women. So you can see we've got the executive secretary going there. The next page, I believe it bleeds over again. There's some empty slots again. We're going to continue with the executive secretaries. And then we get to Jackie, who's in our region. Yay, Jackie. And then, here again, we're still looking for some more information on the secretaries and executive secretaries. Then the last page will take us into the editors of the Reflector, or the Bulletin, where it was known when it first started. And there's just a lot of information. I would love to have somebody go ahead and offer that. Then we have the treasurer, of course. And then I put in somebody that was in charge of the Junior Astronomical Societies, who actually was with the Louisville Astronomical Society, Virginia Lippard. But she did a lot for the league in terms of the junior societies. So I put her in there because of the fact that the junior societies pretty much were the drivers and the movers and the shakers of AL. All those clubs wound up becoming members, and so we kind of wanted to just make sure that you guys knew that there was that society, and this one was quite important for that. So, like I said, if you have any information on any of these women, please get with me, let me know, and I'll be happy to update the files. And so the only other things I got left here is if you are considering submitting any awards that are due at the end of March, you should be considering that now and get those ready and get started on your paperwork, go ahead and go to the Astronomical League or astroleague.org page and go in. You can print out all the forms that you need there, but make sure that you get everything in by the 31st of March. The other thing is, if you are not a member of the Astronomical League, this would be a great time to join. A lot of people come through with their clubs, but we do have members at large that you can do, youth, adults, and then we have Patreon memberships as well. And you can go to the astroleague.org webpage, and you can get information on how to become a member there as well. And then we just today actually wound up getting the Mid-States Regional back on track, and we have a booking for June 4th through the 6th here in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And so it is going to be, quasi, COVID compliant, where the social distancing and things of that nature. We don't know exactly where things will be in June, but we are looking at that. We have space that is ample enough to accommodate people. So if you are in the Mid-States region, that we'd love to have you there. And then as far as the Alcon, I'm not sure at this point in time where that stands, but as far as, if that's a go, then we're going to be showing up and still doing the Alcon Junior, making telescopes with kids with Rob Teeter's cut bases for us, and then the educational things I'm doing, the STEM with the elementary students. So we'd love to hear from you. So on that webpage also, if you want to make a comment, want to get a hold of me, when you go to the webpage, you can actually go to the contact form, and at the top on the menu it says contact us. It winds up coming to me directly. So if you need any help finding anything or just information on anything, just type your information in there and I will get an email from you. So I just want to say thanks for listening. And February is looking up to be a great month for women, a new award for women, recognizing a really great guy, Tippy D'Auria. We have the Southern Cross Club in the calendar and participating. So there's been a lot of really cool things going on for February. So I thank you so much. Hope you guys are enjoying the events that we planned, and we'll see you in March.